Hi everybody, it is me, Erica. Today I'm going to talk about my infertility journey. I'm going to explain where I started, where I am today, and everything else in between. So if you are interested in my video, then keep on watching. Let me start this video by introducing myself because you may or may not know me. My name is Erica. I am 23 years old. I am married to an amazing, wonderful guy named Alex. We have 2 great dogs together and we live in California. But now let's talk about what the video is about, which is infertility. This is something I never thought I would talk about, yet go through. It's a topic that before this whole thing started, I had no clue about really, because you never think it's gonna be you that's gonna go through it, you know? So I didn't think it was a possibility for me, but here I am going through it. Very, very young. Yes, I'm 23. I know I'm young, but that doesn't make this journey any different or any easier for me. So still my journey, still going through it. Yes, I'm young, but does not change anything. So let's go back to how this whole thing started. Me and Alex got married in November 2016. At the time, I was on the Nexplanon, which is a type of birth control. I can honestly say I felt horrible with it, okay? I felt horrible with this birth control. Gained a lot of weight. My mood swings were out of control. Was not feeling good. I was bloated. I was not feeling like myself. It was just not a fun time. We got married in November. I moved with him to San Diego in December. And after I moved, the symptoms were worse and worse and worse every single month. To the point where I was like, I am done. Like, my body is struggling physically and mentally. I'm not doing good. I'm not happy. I hate my body. I hate the way I'm feeling. So in July of 2017, I made my appointment to go take my birth control out, hoping that things would go back to normal. So I made my appointment and I was so happy. I was like, oh my gosh, finally it's over. It's out of my body. I'm gonna feel great. It's gonna be awesome. Wrong, okay? That did not happen. I did not feel great. I did not feel awesome. I felt the same. Nothing had changed in my body. I felt the same. I was still gaining weight. I was still crazy mood swings. Nothing had changed in my body, right? I was hoping to get my period because, you know, on birth control, my period completely stopped, okay? I did not have a period for 5 years, okay? That's honestly, girls, that's not good, okay? Your body needs to clear itself. Well, mine did not for 5 years. So in October, right, about, I would say 3 months after getting my birth control off, I went to go see my doctor. And he told me, he said, okay, so you're gaining weight, you have mood swings, let me check your thyroid. So he did blood work on me, and he also prescribed me this medicine called Provera. So Provera, it is a medicine that you take for 10 days, so 10 pills for 10 days, and it is supposed to jumpstart your period, okay? It is not an actual period, it's just like, it makes your body bleed. So they call it like a jump start because it's like telling your body, hey, you should be doing this, right? So I said, oh my gosh, perfect. Thank you so much. So my thyroid came back normal. Everything looked great. Everything looked awesome. And I take my Provera for 10 days. I take it for 10 days. The 11th day, I get my period. I was so happy. I was like, oh my gosh, this is working. I'm going back on track. I'm going to feel good. So I get my period October, and then I get it again the same day, November. And I was like, oh my gosh, it worked, right? Everything's great. And then I don't get it December. and I don't get January, and I don't get it February. So then I go back in March, and I'm like, hey, so the Provera worked great for 2 months, but then that was it, okay? My period never came after that. So he was like, that's really weird. Let me check your thyroid again. And I was like, all right. I mean, again, but he's the doctor, right? So you think he would know. So he checked my thyroid again. Once again, it was normal. So then he told me, he was like, all right, so you got your birth control in July, which is less than a year, and it takes a long time for the hormones to exit your body. So I said, I mean, yeah, I can see that being true. I had it for 5 years. That's probably what's happening to me, right? Birth control is still in my body somehow. At that point, we weren't really trying for a baby, but we weren't stopping it either. It's something that we felt like we were ready for, but we weren't actively trying for it. Does that make sense? Like, we weren't like tracking ovulation, you know, doing all these steps. We just not being safe. So when March comes around, Alex gets orders to go to a school in Port Miami. So I had 2 options. I either stayed by myself in San Diego or I went back home. So I was done with San Diego. I wanted to get out of there. I did not like it. So it was an easy choice for me. I packed everything and I left. So when I got to my mom's house, I called TRICARE, which is my health insurance. And I asked them to please give me a referral to go see a doctor in Vandenberg. But I asked to see a female doctor because the one in San Diego did nothing for me, okay? All he did was check my thyroid, and he kind of just like told me to go, right? Don't worry about it, you're fine, go. So I wanted to see a different opinion from a different doctor. To go see my new doctor. And she asked me, what is going on? What are you here for? So I explained to her. I got my birth control off almost a year ago. My period has come twice from Provera. I have not been getting pregnant. And at this point, we had to talk and we really wanted to get pregnant, right? So it went from, okay, it'll happen when it happens, to, okay, we want this. We're ready for this, all right? We want a family. So I tell her my goal is to get pregnant, right? I have not been having any luck. I'm not pregnant, nothing, zero. So she tells me, she's like, okay, what symptoms do you have? So I tell her pretty much what I'm going through, right? Mood swings, no period, a lot of hair growth, which is something else that I can talk about later on in a different video. So she straight up looked at me and she was like, you have PCOS. You have the symptoms for PCOS. And when she told me that, I was confused. I was shocked. I was just like, what? Like, what is that, right? I have never heard of that in my life. So she kind of explained it over to me, but she also said that it is something that doesn't go away, but we don't know much about yet, like studies wise. So I was like, all right, so I have this thing forever and there's not much information on it. And she said, yeah, unfortunately, we don't know what can cause it. We don't know much about it, right? So she prescribed me metformin, which is a drug for people that are diabetic to lower their sugar levels. Because I guess with PCOS, you can have insulin resistance, right? So I said, oh my gosh, at least I know what's wrong with me. This sounds like it's horrible, but at least I know what's wrong with me. And then she also sent me to go get ultrasound done. And I went to the medical about a week later and I got my ultrasound done. And thankfully, they found no cyst in my ovaries. So that obviously was a huge thing for me, right? Because I was super nervous about this cyst in my ovaries. But I had none. All I had was a few symptoms. All right. I take my metformin for those 2 months. And in those 2 months, I lost weight. But it wasn't from me eating healthy and working out. It was from me being in the bathroom all day long, okay? This drug they gave you is like a bomb to your stomach. I was in the toilet all day long. I felt horrible. I felt weak because I was getting so dehydrated. I was not feeling good at all. Horrible. So after those 2 months, he got orders to stay in Port Hueneme. So once again, I pack all my stuff and I move to Port Hueneme. At this point, I'm feeling horrible, okay? Like, I'm dizzy, I'm weak, I'm not feeling good at all. So I stopped taking my metformin. Let me just say, my period never came, okay? So we're already, I believe, in July, almost August, right? And my period has not come since last November. So that's not a good thing. That's not normal. So we moved to Port Hueneme, and I called TRICARE once again. I'm like, hey, we moved. Gonna have a doctor assigned to me here in Port Hueneme. So I go see my new doctor, and I kind of explained to her what has been going on, everything that I've already been through. And she tells me, you know what, honey? I think you have to go see an OB that can actually help you because I can't. So I did that. I went to go see an OB. And the OB told me when I went to go see her that the first step was to get my period. Okay, that was the first step to me being able to get pregnant, was to have a regular period. She put me on birth control while he was deployed to regulate my period. He left October. I went on birth control November. And that's when I had my period again. So literally a year later is when I had my period again. I had my period November, December, January, February, and then March, in the 5th month, I stopped my birth control because he was gonna come back April. Alex came back April, and my period came every single month after that, even though I was off birth control. At this point, I'm already taking prenatals. I'm doing ovulation tests. I'm actively trying. I'm tracking everything. I have a million apps. I have a million things going on to track my cycles. And April goes by, I don't get pregnant. Next month goes by, I don't get pregnant. Next month goes by, I don't get pregnant. And like that for month after month after month after month. So in October, I go back to see my doctor. And I explained to her, hey, I have not had any luck. I've had my period every single month, which is what I should be doing, but I'm still not pregnant. So at this point, she was like, okay, let me just run some more blood work on you to see what's going on. So she did a full panel on me. Those results came back a few weeks later, and the nurse gives me a call and she tells me, okay, your levels came back normal, everything is fine, but I have a question. And I said, yes. She asked if I had just given birth or I was breastfeeding. At this point, I'm on the phone like, what? Like, is this my blood work? Like, why would I have just given birth or breastfed? Like, I know for a fact it's none of those, right? And I asked her, I was like, are you sure this is my blood? You know, so we double check, and yeah, it was mine. And she was like, okay, let me have the doctor call you back. So I'm a little freaking out, right? I'm like, why are they saying this? What is going on? So then my doctor calls me and she's like, hey, Erica, so your prolactin levels were high, which is normal when you're breastfeeding or when you just give birth. She was like, I know that's not the case for you. I have to do a MRI scan of your brain to see if you have a tumor in your pituitary gland. And I'm on the phone with her and I'm speechless. I'm like, a tumor in my brain, right? So I was just thinking about it. I was like, what? Like, what is going on? Do I have a tumor? Is that why I'm not getting pregnant? Like, what? So anyways, I go get my MRI done. By the way, horrible experience. Hated that. Super loud, super uncomfortable. Oh, I hated it, right? So the results came back And thankfully, I had no tumor in my brain. So that was good news, right? But then I'm like, okay, but what's going on then? There's no tumor. My levels are good. What is going on? I need help. I'm not getting pregnant. At this point, I'm frustrated. I'm mad. I'm sad. I'm like feeling everything. So then I go back to see her in November. And she tells me, you know what? I cannot help you anymore. You have to go see a fertility specialist. When I heard those words, I felt so relieved and so happy that I was finally getting to see someone that could actually help me, someone who has studied this for years. She then referred me to a specialist, and I went to go see her in January. When I got a referral for her, I was very skeptical because when I saw her website, she was a holistic doctor. Don't get me wrong, if you're into holistic medicine, that's great. It's more natural, but it wasn't what I was hoping for. I was already very tired. I was not doing good mentally at this point. So I wanted help and I wanted it fast, right? But either way, I went to go see her and give her a try. So the day I went to go see her, I was there for 4 hours. Me and Alex both went. She asked us a million gazillion questions, which was normal. And then she did more blood work on me. She also wanted to check my iodine levels, which is something that I've never heard about in my entire life. But I guess that could be a thing that can stop me from getting pregnant. So I said, yeah, why not? Let's check that too. And I did a 24-hour p-test. So in February, my results came back. And I go back into the office so she can talk to me and tell me what's going on and help me, right? And she tells me, she said, you know, everything looks great, but, right? She said, but your progesterone levels were 1.1, which is very, very low. And your iodine levels are also low. So then at this point, I was hoping she'd be like, you know what? Here, take some Clomid. Like, it's going to help you ovulate, right? But instead, she sold me a bunch of supplements, which I have right here. This is Firmguard, which is for, I don't even know what this is, honestly, guys. See, 2 in the morning, 2 at nighttime. Then she gave me iodine, which, by the way, these things are so gross. They're all organic, vegetable. Ugh. And then she gave me a thing for my thyroid. So she sold me a bunch of things to take that was not medicine. It was just supplements. See? Supplements. Like, they were all supplements. And at this point, I bought them all, okay? I spent almost $300 in supplements. So, I started taking them. Before I forget, she also prescribed me progesterone oil. Okay, she told me, take it for 14 days or until your period comes, right? So I've been applying oil to myself every single month. But I started treatment in February, and my period that month only came for 2 days. And it wasn't even a period. It was like spotting for 2 days. And the progesterone was just horrible. I felt so bloated with progesterone. It was so bad. So either way, I still took my supplements, right, every single day. But March, my period never came. And at this point, I'm frustrated, okay? I'm like, I bought all these things for nothing. Okay? I'm going backwards. I dropped that. I only take my prenatals. Only these. They're gummies. And when I stopped taking all these supplements, my period came last month. Normal. Okay? Everything came back normal again. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm going backwards. Okay? I had my period regular before I started all these supplements. And now it stopped. What? The only thing that we are trying that's new is this thing called Pre-Seed, which is a fertility-friendly lubricant that I've heard good things about, but that's it. I'm not taking anything else. The one thing that I always hate hearing is relax, it will happen. And trust me, I've tried to relax plenty of times, but when you're the one going through it and it's month after month after month after month of just negative tests, it's really hard to not think about it. In this journey, when I started, I felt alone. I felt confused. I didn't know what I was going through exactly. Honestly, I still kind of don't. I'm hoping to see a different doctor when this whole thing ends with the virus, because I don't like the doctor that I was referred to. I feel like I wasted my time, and I need someone that's gonna really want to help me. I always hear, Erica, you're so young, you'll have a kid. And I'm not ever saying that I'm not gonna have a kid or that I don't see it happening in the future, but the waiting game is just not a fun game to play. So if you have made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching and listening to me. I appreciate it so, so much. I also want to say that if you are watching me and you're also going through this, just know that you're not alone. There's a lot of women and couples that are also struggling with this. And just know that my DMs are always, always open for anybody. So thank you so much for watching. I am going to be making more videos about this. I post TikToks about infertility all the time. Some are more funny and like taking it more lightly, and just kind of find a little fun out of this horrible journey, and some more emotional. So if you want to follow me on TikTok, you can. I'm on Instagram as well. I'll link everything down below. But thank you so, so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. Bye.